Hello, Team 2. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hi, Yalong. How are you?
Hold on. That's my security cover for my camera. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for putting your camera on. Thanks for joining the meeting. I can see somebody else is here. Tinesh. I'm not sure whether that's your name. Are you part of Group 2?
Um,
Tinesh. It's just that's the name which is on the video.
I think it's Thinesh. I think he dropped off, but he would try to join.
Yeah. I see Sophie's just joining as well. Hi, Sophie. Tinesh is just joining again. T-Fan, welcome. Is the whole team going to join, or
We will have
just a few?
we will have like around 5 people or 4 people to join. Like
Okay.
we're just waiting for one more person to join, then we good to start. Like
Okay.
if he couldn't join, if our group member couldn't come up online like within another 2-3 minutes, we are good to start.
Okay. Yeah. So, like I said in the announcement, this is verbal feedback. It's designed, at least I hope it's going to be constructive, with the purpose of a bit of a check-in to see how you're doing on the assignments, how you're working as a team. Also, I found that having an early draft helps teams kind of make a good start, sufficiently early. Plus, I think people kind of welcome having a bit of feedback to help kind of set the direction and maybe address any gaps. So I'm not going to record this. It's up to you if you want to make any notes. Also, chip away any questions as we go through. That's fine. I haven't read all the detail of your reports. This is a sense of overview, if you like, at a high level. But please, chip in with any questions. So before we start looking at the documents, are there any burning issues that you wanted to ask me? Anything which is on your mind? Any concerns? Anything you're not clear about?
I have
Hi,
nothing.
Gary.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Gary. I'm finished. So, I was just thinking about the just a short question about the executive summary for the project plan. So for the executive summary, right? So that we should be writing a a high level overview of the whole project, as opposed to you know the detailed plan, as in stakeholder management plan, communication management plan, something like that. We should just write a high level overview of what's the product, right? We don't need to write a detail of each plan, right, for the executive summary.
Yeah, correct. So your project plan is your living document as a team of how you're going to deliver the project. And project plans do tend to get updated. It's not like a report that you issue to a board for approval, but has elements in it which you're actively managing, so the timeline, the costs, and so on. Think of it as something which, let's say, your team suddenly wasn't able to continue because you all fell ill at the same time, and another team had to come in and pick it up. It should have elements in it so that they can make, a good attempt at continuing the project, and it should be something that you find useful as a team as well. Now, the executive summary, to go to your question, is rather different to other reports where you're recommending something. But let's say the executive comes along and says, I need to understand how you're doing as a project. And kind of one page should be able to summarize your project. Now, in a way, the way this assignment is set up is perhaps a little bit strange, because your charter captures the essence of what an executive would want to give approval to proceed into the detailed planning.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit contrived, and you submitting them at the same time, so it may seem a little bit strange. But for your executive summary in your project plan, just the high level, what are the really core things, the milestones, the key costs, the key risks, key benefits, and that'll feel a bit like your charter, just the nature of it.
Oh, thanks, Gary. Thank you.
Wylong. Sorry, my pronunciation is wrong, no doubt. You had a question, I think.
No, I don't. I didn't have a question. I was gonna ask, did anyone else from the team has any other questions?
Nothing from me.
I'm currently good.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I think we have no more questions from our part, apart from Dinesh, unless you have more questions, or we are good to go to the feedback, starting the feedback.
Yeah, we are good to go along. Gary, you crack on with that, because we understand that you have time restriction as well, right? So we just don't want to bother you as well. So yeah, you can go ahead with the feedback.
Okay, let's start with the charter then. So I recognize the template that you've got, and it's not a bad template. There are other templates, and you've had a go at identifying the key elements. I think keeping it within one A3 page, and I know lots of organizations where the executives like this, a one A3 page. So it's a good start. You're being suitably succinct. So you're on the right track, but there are some elements which are missing. So I'd certainly expect to see something around the costs, which I can't see at the moment.
Cost breakdown, is it, Gary?
Yeah, so what's the overall cost? And you might break that down in terms of the key milestones. But you wouldn't, at a project charter stage, have a fully itemized cost. You wouldn't do the elemental cost, which is called a bottom-up cost estimate in the documents in the canvas. But it'd be that high level, the top-down cost. So what would be similar projects be like? And you should be able to quickly come to something like you've got 6 or 7 people working on this, spending, I don't know, 100 hours each. That's just off the top of the head. Maybe it's a bit more than that. And you can apply a rate of, say, $120 an hour. So it's really rough and ready, but at least it's giving you something to start off with. Yeah? And I'm not going to look at your submission and say, oh no, your rate is wrong, that you should be using 125, not 120. Or I wouldn't even say, no, it should be $60 or $250. But I'm looking for the thinking that goes behind it. So you've got, it's kind of like a pragmatic thing that whatever your estimate is going to be wrong, but you have to start from somewhere. And your charter is this point where you're getting approval at the high level to go to the next stage. So if you submit this to the executive, they say, well, what are you asking for? You want me to give you approval to go ahead? Well, what's the cost? Go away, come back when you thought about it. Why are you wasting my time? You've obviously not done your homework properly. So if you think of it from that kind of pragmatic level, so like I say, it's not bad, it's a good start, but make sure you've got each of the key elements, the benefits, objectives, your scope. You've got something about the schedule, haven't you?
Yeah.
I quite like a simple reminder for me is boss card. So benefits, objectives, scope, schedule. You're going to ask me what the C is now.
Yeah.
Cost, of course.
Yeah.
Assumptions. So assumptions is a good thing to have in there because your risks will be somewhat informed by your assumptions. Next one is R, risks, D, deliverables. Yeah, so those are some of the key headings, and I think you've got most of them here. Now, one thing I did notice was under critical success factors, you've got good grade. Okay, so the first one, you've got identifying impact of efficient communication. I think that's fair enough. That's certainly a success factor. 2, active engagement of classmates. That's also a success factor. By the way, I do like the way that you've articulated this from the perspective of your team, what it is that you need to do. It's not all kind of made up. You may feel some of those are made up, but it's applied to your team context. So I do like the way you've done that. And an example is there where you've got the success factors, active engagement of classmates, because that really is relevant. The next one, good grade, I think is relevant for you as a team, and I like it, but it's not a success factor. That would be a measure of success at the end, but I always think critical success factors are things which you introduce deliberately to get you to success at the end. Your time, appropriate amount of time for the assignment will help you get to the good grade. The critical success outcome, an outcome might be good grades. And that would be good to see in there. It encourages you to do so. So I'm being a little bit pedantic. In terms of the risks, I think they're relevant. Insufficient time, video not edited, that's certainly a risk. And maybe you've not done it before, so leaving sufficient time for that. Team's health and safety. What's the topic of your video, by the way? What's your chosen topic?
Communication. We choose communication, Gary. Just to identify, the issues, the communication issue between project team and stakeholders.
Right. Okay. Yeah. There's a rich area to present, and you can have something which is engaging on communications. Maybe that's in there somewhere. I didn't see it because I'm having to read quite quickly. You've got a sense of the roles. Have you thought about how you're going to deliver the video? You say actors, or are you all going to have some kind of acting role?
It's there as part of the project plan, Gary. We developed a RACI structure, responsible, accountable. So we developed a RACI structure. So based on that, we sort of populated the role according to the milestone, and we say that who's responsible for what, who will be consulted, and who will be informed. So that's in our project plan, though. So yeah, we didn't say, we just label the roles there without the responsibility in the charter, because our perception was we're going to put in the responsibility as part of the project plan.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. What grade are you aiming for as a team? Have you talked about it? You say good grades, but what does that mean practically?
I know we were aiming for A plus, A. That's what we're aiming for, But we don't emphasize pressure. Don't sort of, don't pressurize ourselves. But at the same time, we are aiming for the best, as in A. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
And following question for Gary is, what is an A project chapter and project plan looks like to you?
Yeah, it's probably not A. I said I wasn't going to mark them, but just to give you an indication, It's something at least B plus at the moment. Might be A minus, so I'd have to think about that more carefully. I think you've got potential to get to an A. It needs to be more developed, more compelling. You know, if you're going to ask for $50,000, would you be happy to invest your own $50,000 on this level of thought? Maybe put it under context for students is not quite fair, because $50,000 would be a huge amount of money, whereas organizations, you know, but would you be willing to put $5,000 into something like this of your own money? Probably not. You'd want to see something a bit more compelling. Yeah.
From a customer's, so when we started, even me, you know, our perception was that we were thinking from a project manager's perspective, but I totally understand now that we should start seeing from a customer's perspective as an investor.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah, go ahead, Gary. Sorry.
Yeah. So you're on the right track. Don't be disheartened. More developed and a little bit more careful articulation within the sections. But I'm not looking for words and words and words. So I like the way that you've been succinct. Yeah.
So the A3, it's fine, right, Gary? Because the quiz, as in the assignments question, did indicate that you were expecting a two-page chapter, right? And it's just one A3 page. Is that right?
Yeah, an A3 is fine. Yeah. Did you say maximum 2 pages or 3 pages?
I think it's 2.
Okay. So I've got other courses where they've got similar assignments, but perhaps the page limits are different. Yeah, so that's fine. Yeah. Okay. So any sorry, go on.
Yeah, it's a 3-page chapter. Okay.
Yeah. So don't feel that you need to fill out 3 pages just because it says the maximum. You know, in some ways, it's harder to be succinct. So if you feel this captures it in one A3 page, then have the confidence and do it. And I guess there's an element of trust here that don't feel that you just need to fill the pages because that's the limit. So I'd look at it and say, yeah, you've nailed it in 2 pages. That would be a good thing. But if it's 3 pages as well, that's all right. You know, by the time you've expanded this, if it goes on to a 3rd page, that's also okay. Yeah, so I'll just leave that with you. Yeah. What have we got for stakeholders? I like the fact that you've got your classmates in the project team. Maybe there's 1 or 2 other stakeholder groups, you know, the university in general, kind of the reputation. For your risk mitigation, let's have a look. Mitigation plan, communication, timeframes early, project team checking availability. Yeah, that's I think relevant risks and the appropriate kind of thinking for mitigation. Things like verifying the scope. You know, you can take this feedback as part of your consultation, if you like, and verification. Also, as we go into the rest of the course, I know the tutorials kind of got things facilitated and planned, but I'm happy to take your, not just questions, but your challenge, if you like. You know, if teams want to challenge elements of what they're doing as part of the verification, then feel free to do so. Maybe I need to allow a specific time for each team at the end. Be happy to consider that, so you can kind of explore this element. I'm looking at your project scope not achieved on your risk register, and you said that you're going to verify the scope for each key milestone. Okay, maybe it's enough on the charter. Should we have a look at the plan as well? Because I've spent quite a bit on the charter. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yes, please.
Maybe I should just share the screen so you can see what I'm looking at.
yeah, that'll be helpful.
Yeah.